But the retention reviews. We get to talk about you guys, the players. Who gets to stay? Who's staying on a team? Which is um, probably a good honor for you. If a team asks you or says, "Hey, you were good. We want you back." It's probably a good honor. Probably feels good. My team didn't have an FL team, so it's going to be my only time mentioning it. So that's going to be my excuse for not getting retained. It's definitely not because I'm bad at car soccer. I have built an excuse for it. But moving on, like I said, we're talking about them again. Hospital Ball. Um, who's fan favorite in the Bears Den? Being their only FL retention, and that's pretty much their secured player that seems like they're going to build around. Previously mentioned, they had two top five picks to use. She's out to prove that she's capable of being the the player. I don't know. But she's making huge strides this off season. Where she's at mechanically, where she's at game sense wise, I think she's a quite insane player. So I know I'm basically bringing up her again, but I think she's just that good, that big of a difference maker, and pretty great that they retained her and just shows their confidence in her.
Yeah, that Bears franchise, it's one of those teams you see a lot of players getting retained on. Um, they love their community, they love their sense of home. So again, if you're being kept on that Bears team, you know you got a home for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
the other
that
Zach likes
Bears
their
team
guys.
has yeah that Bears team has a outstanding community, and if you're on the Bears, you're just fan favorite. The Bears are
Yeah,
literally fan favorite.
It's because
the other Zach.
yeah,
Oh,
the other Zach, the owner. Sorry, there's another one of you. He just doesn't have a V on his name.
sorry, Zach.
But to move on, we got pretty much the entire Spartans roster in FL. They retained three players, being Bowler, Thimblewit, and Tordad, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's what I'm saying on my end. So if I'm wrong, argue with the wall. I don't know what to tell you.
You are correct.
All right. Newly acquired franchise manager Piggy Buggy joins the Spartans and heavily retains most of their team, their FL squad, to right their wrongs from last season. They made playoffs in both twos and threes and didn't make either of the finals. At which as someone that also had that experience, it's not ideal. It kind of hurts. But I mean, keeping all three of those players, they have one thing going, and that's chemistry. If
Yep.
there's one thing I know about them is they are a solid core of three. They all love to play each other. They all know what each other's doing, and chemistry, I think, is by far the most underrated thing in all of Rocket League. Knowing what your teammate's gonna do, and pretty much just having a feel for them, and trusting them, I think is one of the most insane things. So I think them keeping their three and also pairing it up with Piggy just shows their trust in each other and that they want to be together.
Yeah, and looking at it too, like you said, all four of those players are confirmed on their team according to the sheet that I have, and they have a pick in the second round. So I mean, they're gonna have five. They're gonna pick who they want. They're gonna take that one pick, talk about earlier, get who they want, and then, like you said, chemistry is everything. So they'll pick the one player that meshes well with those four people and ride off to the playoffs.
Yeah, just like you guys said, chemistry is the number one thing in Rocket League, and you have chemistry, you're gonna win a lot of games. And I've literally had that when I'm in ML. A lot of teams that have chemistry, I play against them, and they're always beating me. So chemistry goes a long way.
And
Yep.
because again, Rocket League's hard, so might as well trust someone while you're doing it. That's the only way to get through this. Is it's good teammates. To move on, we got the Pirates. I may or may not be dunking on the Pirates in this one. Sorry. So if you're a Pirates, don't hold your breath. They're retaining two players: El Rabo, who's an 8 sal, and Stickley, who's a 9 sal. And after a beyond disappointing season of pretty much their entire franchise, but definitely in FL, the Pirates are choosing to retain a mid and high salary level player, showing that they trust them to hopefully try and fix that former season. Because after a 23-77 overall record, you definitely. I mean, the thing about rock bottom is there's only one way. So hopefully they can, and that's up. So hopefully they can fix it going forward. Maybe not so bad this. Sorry.
Hey, look, like you said, there's only one way. It's up. Bounce back season. Time to prove yourself. Get your picks in. You got two people you're building around. So, like you said, you trust those players. You know what I mean? I casted a couple of these games last season. These this team, it wasn't a bad team. I mean, they might have come out on the wrong end of things, but they're ready to move on. They're ready to move up. And I think they're going to make a bounce back season with those two players as their core.
Yeah, I mean, a 23-77 overall record, that's not very good, but you got to move past that and you got to start building now. I talk about building a lot, but the Pirates, they have a lot of picks and change that record. That record will flip around and be 77-23 by the
Whew.
time the end of the season comes around. So I
You're-
see it. I see it
Hot
happening.
take. Somebody mark it down. Zach V. Hot
knock it
take.
down. If he's wrong, we all come for him.
DMs.
Just don't
Spicy
DM me. Just
takes.
don't DM me if it comes true. Like if it's still the same way, just don't DM me.
If he's wrong, he's just gonna ignore you. So
Yeah.
honestly, don't even mention it at that point.
I'll just delete Discord.
All right,
Man,
so
so FL.
Yeah,
Willie, that it?
that's all I got for FL. Let's move on to AL.
Yeah, I'm gonna get through these kind of quick here. The Flames, like we said with retentions, when you're keeping four players, you got your FM in that core of players, with 3 veteran players that have been around the league for a long time. They don't have any draft picks. They traded away their AL pick. Uh, I don't know if it was for another retention or for something in another league, but they have plenty of experience going into that FA pool, which has recently started to increase. Which at the end of this podcast will almost be close. So if you're not scrimming right now, you don't have your points. Good luck. But yeah, I mean they got 4. They can pick people up in FA, and they have a solid core to work with.
Yeah, I think retaining your players just shows your trust in them. Especially uh, that they did it to have no draft picks.
Yeah, I don't know. I lost it in the sauce where all their draft picks went, but it's JM's crazy, Roxid, and DV. So if I said any of those names wrong, my apologies. Um, that's our job, is to pronounce your names wrong. But 2 12s and 2 11-5s, they got a great core to build on.
Yeah, it's definitely something I guess they believe in themselves, and hopefully it pans out for them. There's a lot of hopefullys out here, Obviously, not all these teams is going to work out for someone. Someone has to be at the bottom of the barrel, and you just got to hope it's not them.
Yeah, just like you said, it's a maybe for all these teams. We can never predict the futures for these teams, but 3 veteran players. I hope those veteran players can step up a little bit and have a good team around them so they can change something about them.
Yep. And then moving right on, man, the demolition again. I like to see these teams that are keeping 4. It shows a great sense of community on these teams. So like the demolition, another team that's had a lot of success last season, all across the leagues, up and down. The demos made a great run in the playoffs. I can't quite remember if they made it to championships, but I know they were late in the playoffs. I casted a couple of those matches. Got Sky sticking around. You got DJ at FM, and 2 other veterans on their team in Branch and Blowdog, I believe it's pronounced. Their salaries all over the place from 10-5 to 12. So again, you can pick pretty much whoever you want. They can pick any player they want in NFL. They can have up to 13 more salary on their team. They can round the roster out with whoever they want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember either if they made finals, but to retaining players, yeah, it shows your trust in them. The 4 whole players, pretty much gives you one more spot to have 2 complete teams. You never know how they're building it out, but
Yep.
4 whole players, a lot to be keeping. Shows a lot of trust.
Just like you said, it's a lot of trust. If you can trust those 4 players, you can create a good team.
Yep. And then a team in my division, a team that you know what I mean? I would like to say I wish the best of success to, but I'm gonna have to cheer for the Shadow over the Sharks. But you got Inky, you got Big C, you got AJ Binky still on the team. These are 3 players that are extremely solid CL players. They got a pick in the second round. I think it's the 8th pick. They can take anybody on the board again with the salary cap they got. They'll get their 4th player. They'll pick 5 up, their 5th in FA, and it's just going to be another team for our franchise here at the Shadow to compete, which is unfortunate. Unfortunate for us that we have to compete with those guys
Yeah, I mean,
or girls. If sorry,
we're inclusive around it. We're inclusive
Yeah.
around it. But I mean that, yeah, it's definitely something hard to compete with. Shows big that you're able to admit it, that they're going to be a challenge. But yeah, they're setting themselves up greatly to make something beautiful happen with the freedom Sal wise. Sal, I know can be a hard thing later in the season to come by. So as long as you can get that fixed and set early, you're setting yourself up for greatness.
All I gotta
Yep.
say is I pray for you, Flump. I pray for you. I pray for you guys.
I talked to OG and the boys in AL, man. And then another quick one, the Spectre. right? A team that I'm pretty good friends with. There's a couple of their CL players, but Wayne Finkel, Select Grief, and M. Koff, season Spectre players. They got ninth pick in the second and third round, so they'll round their roster out with 5. They got a good core. They kept 3 players they trust and have been around. I believe Wayne Finkel's on their their leaderships. So again, good for them.
It was very good for them. Yeah.
That sounds good to them. Wayne Finkel, as an FL guy, it's one of those names I still see around talking about. So I'm going to assume they're good at the game. I'm not going to be mean to anyone that's above me because obviously they're better. Knowing that I'm obviously PL ready. I'm all over the place with my play style, but I'm just going to confidence when I need to and doubt on myself when I don't. But I mean, they're setting themselves up for great picks. Again, the retentions, it's a whole lot of trust. A whole lot. There's not really much you can say outside of it's a whole lot of trust. I mean, you're picking these players back. Like you're giving them the honor of saying, "Hey, we want you. We think you can do it for us. You can help us get us to the promised land, the Forsaken Championship."
Yep. And then I'm gonna hop right into CL here. Keep these things rolling so I can get up to Zach V and ML. I got a lot of talking to do. One team I don't have that much for CL. I got 2 good ones in a sleeper pick that I think's really gonna kind of come out of the woodwork this season. The Pirates, right? This is just a team that's gonna be good. They kept 4 players. They made a good playoff run in CL. They kept the main core of their roster in Matrix, Trampling Cow, and Dragon King, and they have excuse me for not being super prepared. And they have Miller Ball. They're all high salaries. They're going to have to pick up some of these lower players, but sometimes you need those guys. Well, I mean, every team's going to need those guys, but again, they know they have to draft low. They don't have to worry about who they're drafting, but they kept that core roster.
Yeah, I think low sals are some of the most underrated things in league play. I think it can make or break your season. Having those people you can trust be fill-in, so you don't go over play time on certain players. So having them around so making those right picks to have them around is more than ideal for them. So hopefully they get it and figure it out.
Yeah, they're running it back with the same team, and with a strong playoff, when they were strong playoff contenders last season, they're gonna bounce back even harder with this new pick. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to see where the Pirates are gonna go.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my sneaky good pick here in the middle. I think that one of the best teams that's going to come out of CL this season. This is my spicy hot take. Again, coming in the Spectre on both my AL and CL list. They kept 4 players. Smooth and Deppy have a CL season under their belt now. They moved up from AL last season. They got Lion Lord at the helm as their CL captain. He's been CL captain for as long as I've been in the league. And they have Quick Claw, who they picked up late in the last season, a very, very fundamentally solid player that I've scrimmed a lot. So I think this team's going to really turn it around. They're going to get a lot of those cobwebs off. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to make a good run this season.
Any say on that, Zach?
No, I mean I don't really know anything about the Spectres personally, but like what the way Flump is saying it, I gotta believe his word. I gotta believe his word.
That's Flump's hot take. That's the one you guys can message me about.
I'm moved, honestly. I'm a tear to my eye. Spectre going to the championship. He's convinced me.
Yeah, he's already confirming it.
He's locking it. He's locking it in. He didn't say it, but he's locked it in.
Hot take. Someone take the hot take right now.
Hot take. Write it down. Put it on the board. We're just keeping it.
And here we go again. Me having to talk about the Tropic division. I think this Tropic division, the division that I'm in, is gonna be a force to be reckoned with this season. It's gonna be a dogfight in the Tropic. There's a lot of good teams, but the Flames, they kept 3 14-5s on their team. They got Justin at 13-5, and they have the first pick in the second round. They're gonna pick the best 13 they can find. They're gonna solidify their team. And you know what I mean? Like when you can start your second round pick, have your 5 players, and have all your salaries confirmed, I'm scared to play this team. I've said it to my FM. I've said it to the guy who's captaining for our CL team. I'm scared of this team. I'm terrified of them. I won't show that on the field. But you can delete this part of the podcast so they can't listen.
Unfortunately, hopefully not in here because they hear it live.
Yeah.
He's not scared at all. He's confident. He's gonna dunk all over you guys. Be afraid. He's coming.
And that's That's
Oh.
all I get. Unless you got something to say, Zach. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
I have nothing to say. I don't want to get beat up, so.
I had yeah. I try not to talk about the uppers because obviously they're better than me, and I ain't got
And
much.
Zach, take us away to ML.
All right, ML. The main team I had to put on here is the Sharks. The Sharks basically keep the same team every season, and I love the way they keep the same players. You know, it's a very, very good community on the Sharks team. You know, with Addy, Water, Dimensions, and Raspberries. That team is going to be great this season coming up, and they have a third-round pick to solidify the number 5 spot on that roster. So whoever they pick up, they're joining a very, very good team.
Yeah, I mean, again, here's another Tropic Division team. A team I gotta play. Well, I don't have to play. Hopefully, I don't go to ML. That's big scary. But for Ray and Haim, unfortunate for them.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those scary teams. That it's one of those teams that are building stuff, and you love to see it, but as a person, when you have to play them, you don't love to see it because you gotta face them.
Yeah, I could 100% agree on that. You know, that's the type of team where they may not look like they don't have a lot, but that chemistry, just like we talked earlier, is just right there. So that's going to take them a long way. So let me.
I got one of my first days in MLE. I was in a in-house scrim with Raspberries, and the things he was doing with his car is the most mind-blowing thing to me. And the fact that that's only ML doing that, there's still a whole other division above it. That's even more terrifying to me.
Anything else, Flump, or continue?
No, like you nailed it, man. That Sharks is a community team. Uh, I mean, all their teams, I'm pretty sure, other than AL, is retaining 4. So, I mean, and they retain 3. So, I mean, a great team that Audi's built over there on the Sharks.
All right, next team I have on the list, a very, very team that I think that most people didn't really know about, but I would say the Knights. The Knights are a very type of sleeper team. You know, they have Stizzy, very great player, J.K. Frost, East Coast Ghost, and Cameron, all very good players. The 4 of them, they unfortunately don't have picks by what I'm looking at the MLE draft order, but them 4 on a team and a free agent pickup, that is a very, very good playoff team right there.
Yeah, again, with all these retentions, a lot of teams are keeping a lot of players up here. So you mean a lot of teams trusting and just running it back with a lot of the same players. I think that's pretty crazy in that. A lot of teams not really caring about the draft. They're going, we want these players to build around.
Yeah, and if I can fact check you, Zach, they do have 1 late second round pick. So,
Okay.
I mean, on top of all the stuff you said, and they get to draft someone, they don't have to wait till FA. Scary.
It was very scary, and a lot of people don't understand that Stizzy and J.K. Frost are very two good players, and they
Yes,
could
they
lead
are.
their team to a very, they could lead them to a championship. On to the next one. Let me make it quick. The Bears. Everybody knows the Bears.
It's the Bears. They're
The
back.
Bears. The
Bears.
Bears. With the retentions of Judgmental, they just brought up AK, YZ, and I don't want to mispronounce this, but Exul. I don't know how to
Zulu, I
pronounce
believe it is.
Exulu. They're all the perfect salves for that team, all of them. And that team right there, the Bears, is a very big, big sleeper team in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a community team. You said AK, you nailed it. AK moved up. You know, what I mean, they're going to start with 4. I don't know how many picks they have, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they're running it back with a good core of their base too.
Yeah,
think
they
that
have the 28th pick. They have all the 20th pick for the second and third round. So they have a good team to build right there.
Yeah.
I think they might have a record for most retentions. They really love their team, and you going in the server, you're seeing Bears players there. They're everywhere. You can't hide from them. The Bears are coming.
Especially Zach. Zach is everywhere, so you'll find him somewhere. Alrighty, on to PL now. PL, there really wasn't a lot of retentions. You know, as we said, PL is their own land, so PL, everybody in PL loves to move around. The Hurricanes, number 1, Delta. Delta is their only retention, but I love Delta. I'm assuming everybody else loves Delta. He's a great person, and Delta is ready to build off on that team.
Yeah, and then I think the list I have shows them having Lefty Llama and he went to Jared too using their first retentions.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, like I said, it's stuff. It's their own land. It's their own land. But if that's the team that they're rolling with and they're just retaining and drafting one player, and I mean, I see them back in the championship again.
Yeah, I mean, retaining an PL player, you can assume they're goated with the sticks on the Rocket League. Pretty much all I have to say on that. They're in PL for a reason.
All right, on to the next team, the Rhinos, Red and Electro ZX. Both of them amazing PL players, amazing people to be around with, and the both of them with another player that is, or actually two more players, that'd be such a great team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how PL salary works. It's in their own
Yeah,
league. We love to meme on PL about how it's their own land, but like you said, I mean, you nailed it. Red and Electros, uh, to have those two players as your core, pick around them. I mean, Red's been around forever. I don't know Electros as much. I know they made a great run in threes last season. Um, so to see those two run it back, unbelievable.
I again, it's just they're PL. It's a small pool to pick from because there's not that many PL players. So retaining them, it goes a
Yeah.
long way for them, and you still got the players to draft from. Especially because none of them trade away any picks because you can't really. But that I mean, it's pretty much you get your guys that you want, and then you just get to build around that. So it's pretty much free game up there. I feel. I hope at least. 'Cause I know last year there was dominance out of I believe the Hive. So I hopefully that dominance gets spread around a little bit.
yeah, and then finally, Flump told me about him earlier before we started this live. The Shadows, Prosperity 2K, and Thunder. I don't personally know those players and how they play, but by the way Flump was telling me earlier before we started the stream, they're very good players, and I could see the Shadows going somewhere in PL this season.
Got some insider trading right there.
Yeah, no favorites here. Yeah, I didn't mention it just to get us mentioned on stream in our one category. But P2K returning as our captain. We liked it. Me and Ray like to have him around. We love him. Thunder, a great player. They made a great run last season. We made the playoffs. Didn't make it quite far in the playoffs, but being able to keep two players like we talked about earlier that have good chemistry, like being around each other, like you know what I mean. They're very active in talking about who they're drafting. So I like to see these guys stick around. I hope to keep them around for a while. And I mean, we're just ready to get these guys going.
Yeah, hopefully they do the car soccer better than everyone else in PL.
Yeah.
So it's all about the car soccer at the end of the day. All right, that was all the retentions review. All the players good enough to stay on their team. Good for them, honestly. I'm jealous.